Dane, thank you for doing this. So first question in from someone is, you described that the eastern region of the United States is cooler than the rest of the world. What's the reason behind this?
Actually, if I could describe that more accurately, as less warm than the rest of the planet. Since 2013, the surface temperatures, departure from normal surface temperatures in the eastern half of the US lower 48 have been markedly cooler overall, or less warm, than the rest of the world. So that's an indication of the largest military in the world, the US military, that has 3 times more jet aerial tankers, which are a primary component of the climate engineering operations, that they are using that massive military to keep the most populated portions of the US more anomalously wet and cool than the western half of the US, than the rest of the world. So people that live in those areas can't imagine why everybody's so concerned about what's happening around the world, because it's not so bad where they're at. So this is a psychological aspect of the climate engineering operations. But in the meantime, Polly, as you know, we have all these destructive anomalies still occurring. Baseball, softball size hail with almost every storm that occurs. Hurricane +4 straight line winds now, the norm. Tipping trees over that have had their soils and root systems poisoned with toxic rain for decades. Trees fall over now every time the wind blows. So again, regarding the eastern half of the US lower 48 and that being anomalously less warm than the rest of the world, part of the psychological operation of climate engineering and events, I'll leave it at this, like the blizzards in New Orleans and Florida, also part of the psychological operations, chemically nucleated, that's chemical snow, literally. What didn't they tell us during that time frame? It was above freezing and raining in much of the Arctic. So again, people need to look at the wider horizon. The world is bigger than their front porch.
Well, and we're seeing images coming in of huge size hailstones. People are sending those images in. I mean, they're not heard of back in my day.
That's a direct result of what's called an endothermic reacting element. These are patented processes. They're seeding clouds with what amounts to similar endothermic reacting materials that you might have in your ice pack in your first aid kit that can sit on your shelf for 20 years at room temperature. You mix those chemicals together, you have ice instantly. And they're using similar patented processes to seed cloud moisture. That creates a cold, dense layer of air that sinks to the surface, lowers temperatures, again, confuses people as to the true state of the climate. So the consequences are irrelevant to them. If they do immense damage with constant hail, they don't care. If you want to see the epitome, if your listeners and followers for CHD want to see the epitome of chemical ice nucleation, search Lake Michigan ice balls. Look at those photographs. 75-pound basketball-size spherical balls coating beaches. It's happening in many locations around the world. That's not nature.
Oh, and it kills people. It kills animals. It kills.
Oh, yes, it definitely does. In fact, the extreme of this, it comes in many forms, chemical ice nucleation. It depends on the weather circumstances at the time. But in 2013, we had 100,000 cold hardy cattle in South Dakota killed from an October flash snowstorm. 100,000 cattle. At the same time, and we recorded these maps, Polly, because they were quickly taken offline, while it was snowing in South Dakota, snow that started at 40 degrees, by the way. Why did it start snowing at 40 degrees? At that exact window in time, it was 85 degrees and raining in Chicago, 89 degrees and raining in Kansas City. How in the world could you possibly have an October 4 snowstorm that kills 100,000 cattle in South Dakota? 2 days later, of course, there was no chemically frozen material left. All these cows were laying around in the mud, dead. In South America, cold hardy alpacas, same process, killed 250,000 of them. So again, this is all out weather, chemical, and biological warfare, Paulie.